Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a bit of time since we had our last update, but plenty has happened in the last couple of weeks. We've just seen both sides of the equation, fear and greed, basically. But in reality, as much as everybody's hyping up Europe's problems, this and that, we've actually been in a range, like I think I said last time, for the past month. It's been about a good 300-400 point range on the Ftse, for example, but it's been in that range for for the last month. And if we have a look right now, I'm just going to bring up the Ftse chart. Right, let's just see. As you can see here, this is on a 60-minute chart, and this has been the Ftse since August, and coming up to the end of September now, and as you can see over here, top is around 53.77.5, and a slight breakout above it here, but then we came back down, and the bottom has been, the absolute low has been 49.02, but we've been trending just more towards just above 5,000. Even when we have gone below it, we've sort of just come back up pretty quickly. And so, this has just basically been a situation of, looking at the Ftse and pretty much the whole index, all the indexes put together over the last month. So every time it looks like that we're selling off hard, we're really just coming off the top of a range, and then as soon as we find the support area, we're going back up again. And so we're looking at if we look at the Ftse on a shorter term time scale, like on the 1 minute, it's a pretty good opportunity today. We opened up at 51.51, and we instantly came up around a good 40 ticks off that. We then retested it, and since then this has been a pretty strong floor around that 51 level, 51.52, and we've actually tested it 1, 2, 3, a handful of times today, and it's held really well. And every time it's got around this level, buyers have come in, and then finally, when all the sellers just diminished, we had a big move up, helped by the initial jobless claims, which were 29k better than expected. So then we've actually had a move of a good 70-75 points from that opening level that we had earlier. And so looking to where we could sort of head next, we sort of stopped at around 52.24, which was the level roughly where we sort of bounced off when we had our initial move up from earlier. And so if we can break that, then I think we can go on to test 52.87.5. But if not, then I guess we're looking back down to the 64.5 level, 52 level. So playing this Ftse longer term, I'll just be looking to, until anything actually changes, I'll be looking to buy in the low 4900s and looking to sell in the high 5300s, and that's where my bias would be, selling around the top there and buying around here until this range breaks. So right now it's been doing this for a month and a half, and the best thing to do is probably just stick to this range. S&P has been similar as well, just for illustration purposes. I'll pull up a 60-minute chart, and as you can see, actually I'll go to a 40-minute chart. Okay, this is a 4-hour chart of the S&P, and as you can see, again, it just in a big range, going sideways pretty much, and then this is where our initial move was down. So if we actually condense this chart till after we had the initial 15-20% move down, we've been in a range just like the Ftse, but this one stayed much more in a range, and the high of it is 12.14.5, low is about 11.15. So we're in a good 100-point range right now in the S&P. So I guess the bias would be to buy it, obviously around the bottom, sell it around the top, and right now we're smack bang in the middle, so technically we could still rally all the way back to the top of this range. So so right now it's a tough way to call which way it's going to go right now. So pretty much staying out of this at the S&P. And let's just have a quick look at the Bund as well. Bund, this is a 60-minute chart of the Bund. Again, we've been in a large 400-point range over the last month. Got a high of 139.17, which was unreal. I think we were yielding about 1.8 there, and right now we have a low. Well, 135.11 seems to be a key level right now. We're about 40 points above it. We bounced off it earlier, and that was the point that we actually hit about 2 weeks ago. So this is going to be a key level to see how well this holds, the 135.11. But looking at the RSI as well, it's pretty level. There's no real divergence or anything. There's maybe a slight divergence. So probabilities are that we might looking at the fib retracement levels from this move down from the high, which has been a 380 tick move. The first level we might encounter resistance is 136.62, and the next level is 137.11, which coincides with this sort of previous resistance and support level that we had a week back. So and that is 137.18. So 137.11, 137.18 could be a bit of a sticky point if we continue to rally up there. But right now seems to be a lot of consolidation, a lot of value being found around this area. So I guess it'll just take some big news to sort of push it out of this range, push it out of this range. If we just go short term, near term in this Bund. A lot of lines. Again, after this move, we're just pretty much ranging right now. 135.96, 135.11, which is where we bounced off earlier. So again, if we can break this 135.96 on a short term, then we might be looking towards those fib levels that we just talked about. So we'll see what happens in the Bund. Again, it's very heavily tied to the stock market. So if the stock market starts going towards the top of its range, it's probably going to break below the 135.11, and then if we look back onto the 60-minute chart, and the next level really that we've actually come up quite a long way. The next level was 134.48. That would be the next level that I can see if we do go back down lower. So that would be where we'll be looking at next, and that's after we broke out that rising wedge. So we'll see. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And just a final quick word on Euribors. Euribors has been very trendy lately. Looking at the front month spreads that I look at, the set 12 deck 12 spread, we've actually come from the low, and I think earlier in this week we were trading as high as 8.5s after coming up from as low as 4.5s earlier, and then and since then it's pretty much re-established the previous range that we had. So this was the range that we had before, 4.5 to 6s, and then we sort of broke above and we went as high as 8.5s. And I remember I was shorting it all the way over here, and actually had to take a small loss as it looked like it was going to continue higher. But then afterwards, it's now come back and it's established. It looks like it's establishing the previous range we had between 5s and 6s, 4.5, 6s. So it's a bit difficult right now to really this seems to definitely a good place to go long at the moment for sure, because we haven't been below this level in quite a long time. So I'll be buying 5s, 4.5s all day long if it gives me the opportunity to do so. But if it gets above 6, 7s, it's a pretty tricky area since we're going to be in the middle of the range over there. So and that's pretty much been the case with a lot of the other Euribor contracts as well. They all had their push up and now come back to join the previous range that they had from a couple of weeks back. So it'll be very interesting to see how we sort of pan out on that front as well. So to summarise, just looking at the key levels, in the Ftse, we've got an upside level of 53.77.5 and downside of 49.02. The near-term support is 51.52, which is the level we just talked about right now. So if we break that, we could be heading quite a bit lower. But to the upside, we've got 52.87.5 and 53.49.5. So those are the sort of levels that I'll be keeping a focus around and trying to make some decisions around those levels, depending on how the market action is. With the Bund, we've got the high 139.17, downside 135.11, which we tested today. The near-term resistance of 135.96, and the short-term term support 135.28. So right now we're actually trading on the Bund at 35.52, so we're a bit away from that right now. And the first two fib levels that we got is 38.2, 136.61, and the 50 fib is 137.10. So it looks like we have bounced off that level, and if we do continue going, those will be I would say the first notable points of resistance that I could sort of see after the near-term resistance at 135.96. So yeah, that's the levels that I'll be looking at right now, and can always find more at euribortrader.blogspot.com. Until next time, good luck trading.